Welcome back to Stamping at the Warren, and I'm Kim Tolton. Today I am showing you how to make a little baker's box, and it's using the Thinlits dies from Stampin' Up, which come not just with the dies for the actual box, but you've got a few supplementary dies in there as well. And I've decorated it with the Winter Wonderland designer series paper, plus this really cool and funky little bauble pom-pom trim in real red, which just seemed to really work. I've been trying to find a project to use it on, and it just worked. I was looking for something to close this with and realised actually the pom-pom could be used as a closure, so there we go, that's what we've got today. So what I've done just ahead of time is to just trim two pieces of basic black cardstock to 17 centimetres by 15 centimetres, and the reason I've done that is this die only just fits through your big shot. So it's a lot easier to trim the cardstock to size, and you'll see I've cut it really close to size here, so there won't be very much wastage at all, and that width just fits through the big shot. You've also got some supplementary dies, so this is another size of the lots of labels that is in the lots of labels pack, and this is obviously a size that isn't in there. You've also got different types of dies that allow you to close the bag. So there's one here that gives you a couple of dots at the top of the bag, or you've got a more traditional tag top type of closure up there. You've also got a little heart, and you've got this circle, so you could, if you want, have a heart, or you could have a circle aperture in the box. And then you've got this die here which just says yummy, so if you're putting edible gifts into your baker's box, then that will be absolutely super as a sentiment on there. And then you've got an even smaller one of the lots of labels there as well. So the ones that we want, oh, and I've just realised the ones that I want aren't there. There it is. And then you've got this one, which is the one that I've used for my box today, here, and it's like a long slit, so you could put really wide ribbon in there, and I just liked it, so that's the one I'm using. So I've left my big shot magnetic platform and everything just across the way, and rather than scraping my chair across the floor, which I thought wouldn't be very pleasant, I'll just show you the sandwich here. So for best results with these Thinlits dies, you really do want the magnetic platform if possible. It will work if you've got washi tape or masking tape, or even post-it notes just to hold this down onto the cardstock, but ideally you want a magnetic platform followed by an acrylic cutting plate, followed by your cardstock, and then your Thinlits die with the blade facing down, and this is the blade here, this ridged area, and then you will put another acrylic block on the top. And before you pop it through the machine, you just want to pop whichever form of closure you've chosen for the box, just pop it in place, and then it will cut everything all in one go. And this die actually has scoring lines as well as cutting lines, so it allows you to form the box really nicely. So I'm going to put you on hold just whilst I go and die cut this, and I'll be back. Right, so I'm back. So I've now die cut two of this die, so you need two die cuts exactly the same cardstock, everything, and that will make the box. So you want those two, and those other little bits will go for scrap. and you just want to pop out the centerpiece if it hasn't already come out where your closure will be. And again, put that to one side, and then I'm just going to pop this die back in its pack, because there's several fiddly little things in there that have a habit of going wandering as soon as you turn your back, so keep everything together. Right. So to make this box, you need to ensure when you're putting it together that the two handles, whichever you've chosen, are both facing in the same direction. And on these little two tabs here, you just want to pop a piece of tape and tear. And you want to do that on both of the pieces. You want it fairly close to the score line when you're doing it. There you go. And take the tape off, or the backing, take the backing off just one of those for the moment. This is just the way I've found is the easiest to put it together. Right, so you want to get these really nicely lined up, so I sort of rotate it round so I can really see what I'm doing, and hold the other piece of cardstock down, and you want to get it lined up with the top line and also the score lines, and then pop it down. Then you want to go along and just by fingers first of all, just fold all of the score lines. One way, and then come back in the other direction. And you do need to take your time, because it's quite easy to get them slightly off center, and then the box just doesn't come together as nicely as it could. As with most things, just take your time and you'll find you'll have best results. And then this end, you want to fold all of this line across, and you also want your handles. You see there's a score line, so flip the cardstock over and fold them backwards, and then you can go along and all of those folds with your bone folder and just make them nice and crisp. It just gives a much nicer, more professional look to. I know you want homemade, that's the whole point, is people know that you're hand making these items, because that's what the lovely part of the gifting is all about. Okie doke. Now this is essentially a fold flat box, so I've put the tape on the wrong side, of course I have, so I just retape it, but it comes together in half. So let me put the tape on the right side, and I knew that shouldn't have been the right side. Hey ho, it won't do any harm. And this little box actually takes quite a lot of product. So you could make some truffles, or you could have, you know, like the little pots of jam that you get when you're in hotels and the such like, and you probably get probably 3 of those in that size pot. So if you make your own jam or marmalade, preserves, little toffees, sweet almonds, humbugs, they're very Christmassy, aren't they? Anything like that, and people would love it. Little homemade gingerbread men, or oh gosh, it's getting me in the Christmas spirit. I do like baking at Christmas. Right, so that just goes down and the two ends should meet. And your next job is to fold down the bottom. So you want your two, hopefully you can see this. So there's these two shapes here. So if you put a little bit of Tombow, just a tad, don't need to go overboard with Tombow at all. And then the same on this piece here. And a little bit on here. And you just fold it up. One piece comes down like this. And then, have I done it? Yeah, that piece goes down here. So this is where you just need to take time and get it straight. Give it a pinch from the other side, and the joy with Tombow is that you can move it. You get 4 or 5 seconds where you can move it before that's it, it's stuck, and it's stuck forever. If it gets on your fingers, rub it off straight away and it'll come off. But it's not like not like PVA glue. It won't it doesn't come off really easily. And then this little one pops down and in like that. So you just want to pop it down on a flat base, and with your bone folder or your ruler, just go down in there. And make sure it's nicely stuck down and closed. Right, so the next bit is your side pieces, and there is faint score lines for these, and the easiest way is to use your fingers to guide those creases. So it goes from a point here down to here, and you want to do that on both ways. You don't have to do it completely, because as you fold the box up you find that it does it anyway. So I just put my finger behind the fold, and then it allows you to crease it, and even if that crease is going the wrong way, it sorts itself out in the end. So again, find where that centre line is, put your finger behind it, give it a pinch, and that way find the crease, give it a pinch. And those will then fold inwards quite easily, and you can guide your fingers to do the rest of the work. And there it comes together, very much like a milk carton box really. And that crease there has gone in, so just pop it back out. There you go, and that will be the basic box made. Alright, so pop your goodies in there, and then the rest is just down to dressing. So I've already trimmed the designer series paper to size, and you could use whichever side you want. I'm going to go with the snowflake size. So this is Winter Wonderland designer series paper, and for the little pieces for the tops of the box you want 2 of these measuring 6.4 centimeters by 5.4 centimeters, and then you want 2 for the base, which measure bottoms, she says, and I haven't done it. Oh dear, where are we? Bottoms, tops, there we go, 6.4 by 3.6. This is slightly narrower here. So the bottoms are 6.4 by 5.4, and the top sections are 6.4 by 3.6, and you want 2 of each of those. and I've just used Tombow. You could use snail, you could use tape and tear, you could use fast fuse. The reason I'm using Tombow, and you really need only tiny amounts of it, is because you get that little bit of movability with it. So if it's not exactly where you want it to be, you have a few seconds just to move it around and be happy. There we go. And then the top one for there. Again, just tiny amounts of Tombow. It's more like a little huff of breath rather than a great big puff. It's very gentle, very small amounts is all that's needed, and a little goes an awfully long way. There you are. And sometimes these little boxes, that a lot of the hard work has been done for you, and what you're doing is you're doing the design work really. They've made the design for the box, but then it's down to you to use which colour cardstock you want to use, what sentiments you want to use, what papers you want to use, and that's the fun bit, isn't it? It's doing all that work, and then you can dress it up exactly how you want it, and you then have something that is exactly the right size all the time, so it's nice and consistent. So if you wanted to make a whole load of them, I don't know, say for class teachers and things like that, so you might just want something that looks a bit more professional and routine. There you go. Right, so that's your little box, so pop your goodies in there, and then in comes this lovely pom-pom trim, and I just popped some through. Pop, 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 pop. Be gentle so you don't tear your box. You just want a few so that it will flop down over the top, and trim them off. There you go. So it's already starting to look pretty, isn't it? Very Christmassy. And all that's left now is to do the sentiment. So as with Christmassy things, it has to have a bit of a shimmer here and there. So I'm using the white shimmery cardstock, and I'm also using the basic black because of the colour of the box. I did try the real red, and it didn't work for me in this particular instance, so I decided to keep with the black and white theme. And first of all, the sentiments I'm using are from the Holly Jolly Greetings stamp set. I like it because it's got so many different sentiments, just single words, and then you can string together whatever you choose. And I'm using the Merry. And also the Christmas. And I'm using the archival basic black ink pad here. Now you will need to clean these with Stays On stamp cleaner. Stampin' Mist simply isn't enough to clean Stays On ink off of stamps, so you will need that, and you might need you might find using a Stampin' scrub, which helps you clean your stamps as well, might be useful. Then the sentiment I have cut out now, hopefully it will still fit in. Yes, there we go. So this is the extra large oval punch, I should say. There we go, just fits in there, so punch out that. And again, in keeping with the theme of the cardstock, I'm going with silver. So silver foiled cardstock, and I'm doing an oval scallop. Again, a punch. So pop Stampin' dimensionals on the back of both of those. Couple on each. Pop your scallop on. Top it with your Merry Christmas. And there you have a really lovely Christmas treat box. That would also look great in place of a little cracker, really, wouldn't it, on the table as a favour. So that's today's little goodie. I'll be back tomorrow with another packaging and box and tag option. All of today's blog post details will be in the show more information at the bottom of this video, and you can find my blog at www.stampingatthewarren.blogspot.co.uk, and I put a full written tutorial on there because I know I blub a little bit, so you might lose track a little. So I do that full tutorial on the blog. The video is also embedded in there, so you can go back to it time and time again. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.